All right, YouTube, it's Mr. Mean bringing you another RPG unboxing slash mini review. This just came in the mail from Amazon today. I live in Beaumont, and my local game store, Bookstand, cool little bookstore, is not listed on the WotC site as a preferred retailer. So I didn't know any better. I went to Amazon and I ordered it. I saved a couple bucks. I'm always a fan of supporting my favorite local game store. In this case, it's Bookstand because I live in Beaumont and they're here in Beaumont. They're right down the street from me. They're 10 minutes away, if that. But again, I went to the WotC website looking for my authorized store to see if they were going to have it early, and they did not. They weren't listed. So I went in and I talked to the owner and I mentioned to her that, they weren't. And she said, "Oh, yeah, we're listed." I said, "Well, I went on the website and I don't know, maybe they were having a glitch or whatever, but for what it's worth." So I would have bought it from them. I'd like to support my local game store if I can. But, they weren't listed, so I did what I had to do. So here we go. I'm sure you can hear that. That's the lovely ripping of the cardboard from Amazon. And there we go. There's nothing in there extra. There's the Storm King's Thunder, $49.95. I think I paid $35 for it, so I saved roughly $15 and free 2-day shipping through Amazon Prime. So let me first of all, they've got that little matte on the side, and then the glossy here, full image there is nice. Storm King's Thunder. I know there's been a couple reviews. I'm not going to review it per se, as in what's in here, what's not, because I don't really know. I've watched a couple reviews, but I can tell you from Amazon, it's in pristine shape. There's no nicks, there's no dents, which I'm real picky about my books. I don't even like people borrowing my books to write on top of them when they're like filling out character sheets and stuff. It's a pet peeve of mine. Again, it's laid out, kind of like, from my understanding, it's laid out in the same way that Curse of Strahd was laid out. So if you're familiar with Curse of Strahd, then this should not be much different. They do give it's a lot better of a layout than their previous, like the Princes of Apocalypse and the Dragon Queen's Horde and all that stuff. Here they give you right off the bat. First page in is a Dramatis Personae, which is all the people that are in the back of the book. They did another cool thing, and this has been noted on several other websites, but they give you the stat blocks and a picture reference of all the NPCs or the major NPCs that the players will encounter. And then the other cool part is right there in the corner of the book, it says permission to photocopy. So you can cut these out and scan them. I'm going to do a little digging on the web. I'm sure someone's already cut and scanned this. So I will look for those images and print those off and then give them out to the players as needed. But I do like that. I think that's very cool of WotC to do that. Again, I would have liked, a cool map. It harkens back to the old school days of gaming, when every big book supplement, because this is not only an adventure, it's also a supplement. It's an adventure, but it's also got a wealth of information on giants in here. There's a whole bunch of new rune magic for those playing the dwarves or any culture that uses runes. For those of you running your homebrewed campaigns and you wanted to add rune magic, there's now rules and information in here for rune magic. They do give a ton of maps, and my understanding is all the maps are indexed in here as well, so they're easy to find within the index here, or the table of contents. They give all the maps. Yes, on, I guess it'd be page 2 or 3. There's all the maps there. That tell you what page the maps are on, so that you can lay out. This is a very loose form. It's not like your traditional adventures where you go A to B to C to D, and you clear out the dungeon, room 1, room 2, room 3. This is kind of free form. It's made for characters from levels 1 to 10. More so, if I remember reading correctly, it's more geared towards 5 through 10, levels 5 through 10. But it does give you some starting information for creating new characters or existing characters that are under level 5 to ease them into the campaign. And so my group is level 2. And tomorrow night they'll finish up, or hopefully they'll finish up the little quest that I put them on, homebrew stuff that I put them on, and they will hopefully progress to level 3. They've had about 5 adventures now, 5 encounters, and hopefully with one more encounter that'll give them 6, and that should be enough XP to bump them. I'm not using the traditional you earn X amount of XP, and now when you hit the cap, for whatever your level is, you advance. What I'm doing is storytelling advances. So when they get to a possible spot where I think is a good spot for them to level up before they progress on, I just tell them, okay, at the end of that session, everybody levels up. And so far, it's worked pretty good. They've received it very well. Now, again, they only went from level 1 to level 2, but we had 2 sessions where they were level 1, and then their start of their 3rd session, they were level 2, because at the end of the 2nd session, I had told everybody, okay, next session you'll be level 2, level up your characters and go from there. I'm also using a site called epicwords.com. It's a free site. It does have a pay-for service. Here's a little plug for epicwords.com. The nice part is you can go in there and you can put your campaign, you can put your NPCs, you can put, it's like any other wiki type website. It's basically what it is, but it has a very friendly user interface. You can assign experience points, you can assign treasure and loot, and then the players can go in and divvy it up amongst themselves. There's within each campaign that the GM sets up, you create a master account as a GM, and then the players can actually create sub accounts where they go in and they register their character, and they can put all their background and everything. So it's very cool. If you haven't got it, if you're a GM and you're looking for a site that'll help you organize your thoughts a little bit better, it's a good site. There's private sites for the GM where you can put all your campaign notes the players can't see unless you publish it. So yeah, that works out really well. And like I said, I'm really enjoying it. And so kind of using that in conjunction with my own homebrew stuff, because I run a lot of my own adventures that I create myself based on the characters' backgrounds. And so far, I got to say, I've always been a fan of that. I'm not a fan of the pre-published adventures. I bought Curse of Strahd just because my group in Louisiana wanted to play through it. But after reading it, I was not terribly impressed with it. It's not to say that it was a bad product. I just didn't like the way the adventure was structured. I had some complaints on my GMing style interfacing with that formula. And supposedly with this, it uses pretty much the same formula, but they've cleaned it up a little bit. They've put in a roadmap basically to say, hey, players go here. If they do this, go here. If they don't do this, go here, but it's all strictly optional. And I like that. And so that's how this book is kind of laid out. There's a flow chart in here. Being in the IT world, I've dealt with many, many flow charts and made many, many flow charts. So it's a good thing to have for me. As far as the book goes, the art is top notch. It's phenomenal. I mean, hopefully you can get a good view of that. It's WotC. I expect no less. Here's the adventure flow chart. And so it goes through it, says if your adventures are levels 1 through 4, go here. If they're 5 through 6, go here. Now they're going to end up in the same place, but then from here, they have 3 different options that they can go, and then it leads into different things. So, levels 1 through 4, they go through a great upheaval. If they're, levels 1 through 4, you do an other published adventure. So I could keep running my adventure that I'm running right now, get them up to level 5, and then move them into Rumblings, at which point I choose either Bryn Shander, Golden Fields, or Triboar, which is one of the 3 options, and they're listed in here, and then I can go through, I'll read up. So I've got a lot of reading to do because tomorrow night is game night, and I just got it today. If I would have been a little more diligent and WotC's website would be updated properly, not to say that it's not, I don't know where the mistake lies, but if I would have known that Bookstand was a legitimate WotC site, I could have got this last week over there and had the long weekend that I was off for 3 days to read this. And I didn't want to pay retail for it because I'd already paid for it. And Friday afternoon, I found out that it was being shipped to me from Amazon. So, I did save about $15. So I can't complain too much. I mean, $15 off of 50 is not too bad because I think it's $35.99 on WotC's website. So I saved $14. Gotta love Amazon Prime. Bookstand is our only local game store. We do have another store, but they don't do a lot gaming. They're more of a card and magic store, and that's fine. They will special order stuff, but you got to know what's coming out. And unfortunately, I've yet to find a good website or source of information that will tell me the upcoming product, aside from going to every publisher's website and looking at their release schedule, which some of them don't even do. So I don't have. I mean, I have that kind of time, but I prefer not to use my time that way. I'd rather be prepping for the adventure. So, needless to say, I got a lot of reading to do tonight to get them up there. Now, granted, they're only second level, and I can control when they go to third. So I'm going to read the adventure in here that's from first to fourth level, and I might just throw them right in the middle of it because they've done some of the basic stuff in my adventure, and it's easy enough for me to wrap up where they're at and kind of lead them this way. And I think this takes place in not Neverwinter, in not Baldur's Gate. Can't think of the name of the town now. Starts with a W, and for the life of me, I can't. Not Wintercrest. And of course, there's no quick map. But anyway, I can get them over there. And I've already put a link in there. Well, not a link. I've put a hint in there about where they need to go. Waterdeep. There we go. I knew it started with a W. I've already put a contact that they met. The Bard has a mission to go to Waterdeep. So if we finish up tomorrow night and things go the way I hope they go, we'll transition into Waterdeep or on their way to Waterdeep, which I can tie in with one of the other characters. She's playing a ranger, and she was in charge of some children. She had left the adventuring life and was in charge of some children, got attacked by orcs, and they took the children, and that will lead in well to the Storm King's Thunder, because I can say the orcs who took them traveled towards Waterdeep, and then I can transition them into that and maybe wrap up how maybe they come across the orcs on the way. I don't know. I'll finagle something. I'm good at on the fly stuff, which is, again, why I'm more apt to run games like Savage Worlds as opposed to D&D, because if one player can't make it, it kind of throws your whole challenge rating off and makes life a little difficult for the GM. Now the adventure might be a little too tough for the 3 players instead of the 4 you were expecting. The good thing is I've tailored, none of my players are diehard fighters. I've got a wizard, a warlock, a ranger, and a bard. So it's not like I'm sitting heavy on the combat. So the good part there is I can I'm tailoring the adventures kind of on the soft side. I'm not giving them too much that they can't handle, and they're doing well. So, and everybody's having fun. One of the players has never really played before, and so she's really enjoying herself, and she's getting into the backstory and everything, which is what I like. Really looking forward to it. So again, Storm King's Thunder. So far from everything I've heard, it's a really good adventure. I'll maybe when I wrap up the D&D, I'll do a brief synopsis. Hopefully we'll run through this whole thing and they'll make 10th or 11th level through it and enjoy it. And we'll see how it goes. I'm not a huge fan of pre-published adventures. I like to kind of do my own thing. And games like Savage Worlds and GURPS kind of, and DCC for that fact, point you in that way, as opposed to games like D&D where, you can do a lot of work and make up your own adventures, but again, one player out for the week, because they're sick or whatever, throws a monkey wrench in your best laid plans. And sometimes it's easy enough to just pull X creature out, but sometimes it's not, depending on the adventure and what you've got. If I've got a room full of traps, a dungeon full of traps, and the thief, calls in sick, they're kind of screwed. I've got to totally on the fly, and people, it's life 101. I'd like to get a couple of days notice saying, hey, I can't make it to the game, but I understand how it goes, and so you have to roll with it. But other than that, rune magic, there's a bunch of runes in here. Google, you'll find some other runes that some other very talented people have created. I found one. Unfortunately, I printed it and I didn't save the link, so I could Google it and search for it, but so can you. But someone did a real nice PDF with a bunch of runes to use as well, to add, because there's a few in here. I think there's like 10 or maybe 20, but there's so much room for more. I do not know if they give you rules for creating runes or if it's just a bunch of runes kind of as magical treasure, so to speak. I don't know. But I'll definitely get on it, and I'm looking forward to it. They even give you some options in here for you published adventure GMs that like to do things by the book. They give you an Appendix A, linked adventure. So there's the Lost Mines of Phandelver, Horde of the Dragon Queen, Princes of the Apocalypse, using elemental cults as a sidebar, and then Out of the Abyss. So if you've run any of those adventures, they give you a segue into this, which I think is really cool. There's a bunch of magic items, creatures. There's some new creatures here that they add, new giant options, and then special NPCs, which I showed you. Giant runes as well. So a lot of cool stuff in here. I mean, it's how many pages is it? We're looking at, they're not counting, I guess they're not counting, yeah, looking at 256 pages of Storm Giant's Thunder goodness. So very cool. I'm really looking forward to diving into this tonight. This is what I'll be reading over dinner and relaxing with for the evening, and then I'm going to bring it to work tomorrow and read through my lunch. And if you guys have ran it or you're in it right now, leave a comment down below and let me know how it's going. And as usual, like and subscribe. It helps me out. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Like I said, it's not a whole lot because I don't know a whole lot about it, but I would say for the $35 that I paid for it, it was worth it, just for the runes and the giant information and the new monsters. My personal opinion is I think WotC has upscaled the prices on a lot of their books. I think they're overpriced for what you get. Used to be you'd pay $39.95 for a book this big for 3.5, and there'd be a map in the back. There'd be a little extra punch for your buck. And they've gone away from that, and I don't know why. Production values, I'm sure, but they also set the standard. If you pay $50 for this, they know they can charge $50. If they come out with a book like this and they charge $50 and nobody buys it, then they know they've got to lower their price point. So, or if you buy it from Amazon, you're really not helping the industry, but that's an argument for another time. Amazon buys in such huge bulk that they get a discount on it, and WotC's willing to eat that cost. And I'm not even sure they buy straight from WotC. Amazon, because they're a wholesaler themselves, or not a wholesaler, but they're a retailer, they may have an account with WotC, and they've set the terms saying, hey, we'll sell your book, but you're going to give us this kind of a discount. And then, of course, you turn around and buy it for that $35.99 price tag, plus your 2-day shipping, but you've already paid $100 for your Amazon Prime account. So are you really saving money? I don't know. I use Amazon Prime a lot, so I feel that I'm saving money. So is it worth $49.95? I can't tell you that. That's your opinion. Depends on what you get out of the book, how much you enjoy it. Does your gaming group enjoy it? Does your GMing style allow you to enjoy this? The last thing you want to do is buy an adventure and run it and hate it. I mean, that's the worst. It's going to come out in your game that you're not feeling it. And your players are going to know. They're perceptive. They're going to pick up on it. So, I mean, I hate to say it, but you got to buy it and try it, or maybe borrow a friend's, take reviews and thoughts like mine across the web. I would have probably still paid $50 for it. I'm wishy-washy here, and I apologize. I'm a new book whore, gaming collection, kind of guy, and I've got all the other books. I mean, but I bought them all except for one of them off of Amazon, so I didn't pay full price for any of them. So take that into account. I'm gonna save a buck where I can. And I do believe that WotC's books are overpriced. I mean, the quality is excellent. There's no doubt about it. Fantasy Flight's books are overpriced. Again, quality is excellent. I just think $50, $60 for an RPG when you can go buy a regular hardback novel for $20. And some of them have just as much art in them as these do. Yeah, they're not necessarily in the 8.5 by 11 format, but it's just the industry has set that expectation that a hardback book, 250 plus pages is supposed to cost $50. And so we go, okay, and we pay for it. We're the ones that control. We vote with our dollars. That's all I'm saying. So vote with your dollar. Don't pay full price for it if you don't have to. If you don't have an Amazon Prime, contact your friend or a school teacher. Ask them to order it for you. Pay them the cash, maybe $2 or $3 extra, and have them order it for you. Boom, you save $15. So, the value. There's the term I was looking for. Your mileage may vary. I think for me, this is going to be good. I've read up enough on it, and I've looked at enough reviews that I feel that it's going to suit my game style, my GMing style, and I think my players are going to enjoy it. So I'm thinking my value for $35, $36 is going to be worth it. Yours may vary. So again, as the old saying goes, your mileage may vary. I'm hoping and praying it's going to be really good. On a side note, I tried to watch the Force Grey Hunters by Matt Mercer. I'm a huge Matt Mercer fan. For those of you who don't know, Critical Role on Geek and Sundry, you can go on YouTube and Google it or search for it. Excuse me, a little heartburn there. And you can watch Critical Role, which I think is phenomenal. And it's a really good show. It's a bunch of voice actors, and they get together and they're running this D&D campaign of Matt Mercer's design. It's his whole world, and he just inked a deal with Green Ronin to publish his game world. So that's even cooler. So next year, I think by summer, maybe early summer, you'll be able to buy a book of his world. And I can't think of the name of it right now off the top of my head. But anyway, you'll be able to buy that world and game in that world. So that's kudos to Matt for penning that deal. And hopefully, I hope he makes a lot of money on it and does really well on it. But Force Grey Hunters or Force Grey, whatever it's called, I didn't like it. It's Matt Mercer. It's Ashley Johnson, who plays Pike on Critical Role, and then a couple other like comedian type guys. It was too slapstick. It was too silly. I like to take my D&D with a grain of seriousness, which Critical Role has. They have some very somber moments, some very serious moments. They have some humor in there as well. But I don't think it should be slapstick humor. It shouldn't be like watching Laurel and Hardy or Abbott and Costello, who's on first, kind of routines. And that's what I get. That's the sense of feeling I get from that Force Grey series on Geek and Sundry or whoever's showing it. I've watched the first 3 episodes and I just didn't like them. But that's me. You may like them. So if you haven't liked it, give them a check. Again, I'm going on 23 minutes here, so I've been babbling quite a bit. I'll leave you with your mileage may vary. Pick the book up wherever you can. Look at the local game store, give it a flip through, read a couple pages, see if it's something that's going to fit for your GMing style, and hopefully you can save a buck or two, and you'll enjoy it as much as hopefully I will. I'm gonna, like I said, I'll do an after report of the adventure, or maybe midway through, and see how it goes. But enough of that, and enough of me babbling. I don't know why this video is so long. I'm long-winded, and I like to hear myself talk. So anyway, give a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you didn't like it. If you have some criticism, constructive criticism, feel free to add it. I do read all the notes and posts that people put, and I appreciate your time and your effort to follow me. And peace and hair grease.